by museums, held by private collectors, held by very institutions. And I think that's so important. I spoke about that this morning in our sunrise ceremony, is that work needs to happen in our communities to repatriate and bring back those items that have always been a part of our people. I think in a time where residential schools, unmarked graves, burials, all that work is happening, our children are being returned home. And so with that, our sacred items need to be returned home as well. And I know that Daryl spoke of Cole Nolan and Nicole Seabrook and Penny Pine and some of our other community members that are doing that important work of, again, bringing light and attention to repatriating some of those items back to our community. I can share with you as well is that it was a very powerful moment back in May, just before we launched our Penny Father Treaty claim, not claim, but legal case against Canada and Ontario, that we took a couple of days prior to doing that. And we actually went to the Royal Ontario Museum and held ceremony with Chief Shingwak's pipe and his sacred items. And I can tell you that it was very, very special. It was a very important time, and you can feel the energy, because I believe at that particular time, that was the first time we feasted his pipe, feasted his items. We also held ceremony with some of our spiritual people, with some of our community members. It was sad and emotional, because you can think about those possessions were not within our community, and that was the first time we'd done those ceremonies on behalf of our community. And so it was nice to do that and get that piece sorted out, and well on our way to launching, again, our litigation case against Canada and Ontario. And I think that gave us strength as well to our members to realize that, you know, we stand on the shoulder of giants when we're doing that important work. The very sad part of that is that when we left, you felt like you're leaving your family behind. And that's one of the things that I'm sure a lot of our people feel when you lose your child, residential school, or those kinds of things. It's a loss. And when we left there, we felt that we were leaving them behind. But I guess the underlying or silver lining in that is that it's here in our community today. And we've made those attempts to, again, repatriate those items back to Garden River, as it should belong back in our community, just like many of those items that are important to our communities. So this is a special time for our members here in our community, because not only are we hosting the gathering and talking about some very important topics, but it's an opportunity again for our own community members to see Shingwak's pipe and some of his items. I credit our planning crew as well for having the display and the work that they put into it. And you'll see a lot of the leaders before my time that have contributed to the path that I'm on today. And again, I think that's so critical, is that we never forget of our leaders before us that have kind of laid the groundwork to where we are today. And it's very important in terms of the work that continues on, because again, without them, we wouldn't be here today. So again, it's a nice piece to recognize and remember and honor a lot of those Gimas from our community. Just like it's very important to, again, honor a lot of your Gimas from your community and your history. I wanted to also acknowledge a lot of the staff, the planning team that had put in their time, dedication, commitment to make things work here in our community. You see a lot of our staff with some of the fluorescent decals and fluorescent coats, and you see some of our other staff with red shirts with a cross, and a lot of our people are sprinkled throughout. And again, I think we all can agree is that our staff are the backbones of our community, and we need to appreciate the efforts, the work that they do on behalf of our community, because they're the ones that make things happen as well for our people. So if we can give a round of applause, I'd like to acknowledge our staff and the work that they put into this. So moving forward, I think I just want to say that it's a complete honor to welcome and host a lot of familiar faces, a lot of friends, a lot of elders, a lot of youth, a lot of leaders, a lot of all kinds of people from all across Turtle Island. And I do appreciate the opportunity to stand before you today to welcome you, because it's an honor and a privilege to be in this position as Gima. I'm sure I don't need to preach to the individuals or the people that do this work, but there's a lot of sacrifices that you make, in terms of on behalf of your community and this work that you do. But it's necessary. And I think that it's something that each one of us contributes to our communities in some shape or form. And it's not just the GIMAs that also are part of that piece, part of that puzzle. It's everybody that's going to take collectiveness to move things along for our people. I also want to acknowledge the staffs, the communities that brought their staffs, our PTOs that brought their staffs and their flags. Again, it was a beautiful ceremony this morning. And I also want to acknowledge our spiritual advisors, the ones that have laid down the foundation to get the week started. And I know that we're in good hands in terms of that advice of how we need to do things over the next little bit. And again, on behalf of our leadership, our chief and council, our elders, our members, I want to welcome each and every one of you to our community. If you require anything, please let one of us know. We like to say that we'd like to give you the best here, as long as you're visitors in our community. It's about kindness, it's about respect, it's about reciprocity. And I'm sure you'd be doing the same thing if you're hosting this in your community, and we're doing the same here on behalf of Ketagaunseebee. So on behalf of those eagles that flew over us there, it was pretty close. There was some before that were way up in the sky, and we weren't sure if those were turkey vultures or eagles or not, but you could have not disagree that they had to come show us, I guess, that they're eagles, right? And two different eagles, I would think. But again, on behalf of our people, I just want to say it's been an honor and a privilege to be standing here and welcome you to our community. And I'd like to say miigwech to our planners as well for doing all that good work. Oh, miigwech.